Thank you for listening to this podcast from TRE, Talk Radio Europe, your voice in Spain and around the world. For more information, please visit tre.radio.
The Lifestyle Show.
Selina MacKenzie.
Animal Talk. Presented by Selina MacKenzie.
I'm here. I got my leads tangled up. Sorry about that. This is Animal Talk, which we have once a month, which is our panel shows for all you animal lovers out there. Today, we have three lovely ladies in the studio. We have our usual Kay Millington. Hello. Our vet, Nasli van den Kienboom from Poiter Clinic in Estepona.
Hello.
And we have a new lady called Henrietta.
Hi.
I'm giving everyone's surnames except yours, so I don't know your surname.
Henrietta Ross.
Henrietta Ross. And you work at AAA.
I foster for AAA.
You foster for AAA. Got you. Well, we'll talk about that later. For our listeners, if you want to join in or ask our experts any questions, you can call on 952 78 4000. You can WhatsApp 645 99 67 95, or you can email studio@tre.radio. Let's get this show on the road.
Animal Talk. Presented by Selina MacKenzie.
Donkey.
You know what? I would have said a donkey. It says it's an otter, but I think she might have got that wrong. It definitely sounded like a donkey.
It did.
Okay, we've got lots to talk about today, but the first thing, I suppose, some of these are obvious, some not so, but I think it's a good idea to go through the top 10 tips for keeping your animals cool, because it's getting really, really hot now. And you know what? I still see people taking their dogs out at midday,
terrible.
and you can see the dogs can't walk on the pavement. It's crazy. So that's the first tip that came up. This is what I printed out, which is adjust your walking routine. What we've tried to do for Gracie is take her like at 7 o'clock in the morning. Take her because she likes to go and run around and stuff. So I guess that's the best thing, is it, Nasli?
Yeah.
Or late at night maybe? Or
Yeah, but then late, and it depends on the underground also. Yeah, if you're still walking on the pavement in the middle of the city, it's still hot.
Yeah, it's very hot at the moment.
Of course, yeah, it is. You've got to be so careful. And the tip, again, I'm not trying to teach my grandmother how to suck eggs. I know a lot of this is obvious, and most of you know it, especially if you are animal lovers, but you'd be surprised at the ones that don't. So if you're not sure if the pavements are too hot, simply place the back of your hand on the ground for 7 seconds, and if you struggle to hold it down, then it's going to be too hot for your dog with its little dainty paws.
I'll do what I do and tell people. I go up to them and say, "Excuse me, could you just take your shoe off and put your foot on the floor, please?" And they look at me like a mental case. But you know what? Once you actually say it to them, they actually realise. I think sometimes they just think the pads
has to click.
I think
are going to be strong enough to take it, and it's not, you know.
Yeah, I think you're right. I don't think most people do it to be cruel. I think they just don't think.
No.
And in England now, they're going through a heat wave, and I should imagine people are still dog walking there.
Yeah, absolutely.
Crazy.
And I always say, not one dog has ever died from not going on a walk.
Yeah. And that is a good one to say, to remember, you know.
And I'm guessing they don't need as much exercise when it's hot anyway.
No, true.
Yeah.
True.
Yeah,
but then they also need less food.
Right, okay, I didn't know that. We'll bring that one up later. Sorry, Henrietta.
No, I was just saying my mum has a staffy and she just refuses to walk. We have to, try and drag her. And that's her just saying, no, it's too hot, I don't want to walk. Yeah. I'd rather be at home in the shade. So
exactly.
They'll tell you what they want,
that's true.
Especially if they're as strong as a staffy.
Yeah, exactly.
You wouldn't argue
you
with
can't
one.
even move her, so...
Tip number 2, and I really want to hear what you've got to say about this, Nasli, is how to spot heat stroke. So if the dog is overly hot, how do we know?
First, they start panting. That is their first reaction. But then when they start panting and the tongue comes out further and further and they start dripping water out of their mouth, that's when it already starts.
Okay. And what should you do? Just take them to the vets or give them lots of water?
Take them out of the sun, out of the heat. Yeah. Give them water if they can drink themselves. Yeah. If they can't drink themselves and they're really starting to pass out, then you have to take them to the vet.
Yeah.
But it'd have to be quite extreme to get to that point, presumably, would it?
Yes. Yeah. And very often it happens by accident. Yeah. You go shopping, take the dog with, which you really shouldn't do, and leave him in the car. But then you take the shopping out and you forget to take the dog out of the car.
Yeah, and we've said this time and time
so
again.
Many times.
Don't leave your dogs in
hot
cars, in hot cars, in cars in general. Good point, well made. I think it's important. Number 3 is apply dog-friendly sun cream. I had a Westie when I first moved here. We actually moved to Portugal first. And I remember sitting on a sunbed and it was something like 38 degrees. And I suddenly thought, oh my goodness, should I be applying sun cream? Because she was like lying on her back and of course her belly's pink. And you can get it, can't you? I mean, yes. I did in the end. Yeah. And should you, just for white type dogs? Or just for their ears, maybe?
Yeah, if they're very white, or especially in the case if you have a white dog with longer hair and you have it shaved for the summer, then you should put protection on.
Yeah, right. Yeah. Okay. Number 4 is circulate cool air. I think that's pretty obvious. Yeah. And I think they are for the humans as well. So I'm saying all this about dogs, but of course cats are going to get hot as well.
They're a bit more sensible cats though, aren't they? They kind of know where to go.
They just hide under my bed. My cats hide all day. I don't see them for the whole day.
Yeah, and we're lucky we've got tiled floors. Imagine the poor animals.
Nice and cool for them on tiled floors.
Yeah. Number 5, keep them hydrated. Again, an obvious one, but I do think it's important to keep changing the water. Don't just leave water down, which you can probably do for a little bit longer in winter, but keep changing the water. And I put ice in just so as it keeps cold.
Or water fountain as well, which keeps everything moving, which is really good.
Cats. Can you get them for dogs?
Yeah, you can get them for dogs.
Can you?
The metal ones are the best ones, they say now, don't they, for the hygiene and everything. So they're fantastic.
And what do you think about this one, Nasli? Damp towels. Dogs love to cool themselves down from the bottom up, so it's important that their paws and stomach get cooled down first, so you can use damp towels. Yeah. Right. Oh, this is...
And the cooling mats are also brilliant as well. The cooling mats.
You know, I bought one of them last year when we talked about it from Amazon. I was really excited when it arrived. It was about that big. I'm having to explain myself now because it's not television, but it was about as big as a placemat. And none of my dogs will go on it. But yes, maybe if I paid a bit more.
Yeah.
Yeah, but you also have cool jackets. I've seen people come in with a kind of a collar thing.
Seen them, they're fantastic.
You can put cool packs in.
That's a good idea.
We use the collars, the cooling collars at AAA for the dogs as well. Excellent. Even though we walk them earlier, it's very good to have them.
I suppose nowadays, with us being a nation of animal lovers, there are so much more you can buy.
Yeah.
You couldn't have done 20 odd years ago. Number 7, provide shady spots. Again, obvious, but I mean, my dog goes out and lies in the garden. She loves to lie in the sun. She's jet black, and I touch her skin and it's red hot, and I'm like, why? Go in the shade. But she seems to know what she wants to do. But I do bring her in. But of course, you should always provide the alternative that she has got that chance if she wants to. The door's open. She comes in when she's ready. Number 8, less exercise, which she said. Now, this is an interesting one. Regular grooming, number 9. So it says grooming your dog can help them regulate their temperature, particularly if they have long or thick fur. Did you know that?
Because the dogs, say, as an example, the Mastin dog, has an enormous undercoat. Those dogs that have not been brushed are now automatically going to lose that. Yeah, it isolates so much. Yeah, brush your dog. Brush out the undercoat. Yeah. Or take it to a groomer.
Yeah, of course, yeah. And finally, get them wet. So you can put your sprinkler on or get a doggy paddling pool. We've got a doggy paddling pool. We've never used it yet. But again, they are obvious, but I think it's well worth just making a note. I remember, I think it was this time last year, and somebody wrote to us, didn't they, Kay, and said, you never mention about the heat hurting dogs. It's like we do it every single
every summer we do it.
Done.
We're overkill now. Somebody sent something in which I thought was interesting. It says, extreme heat this weekend. If you're walking your dog between 10 a.m. and 6 p.m, please wear a fur coat and no shoes so you know how it feels.
Good one.
Very good one, very good one. Okie dokie, so off that subject, and I wanted to talk to you, Nasli, about rat poison, because I keep seeing on Facebook people are saying these different types of rat poison, it shouldn't be put down. Obviously, it's not nice for the rats, but it can be dangerous to other pets and humans.
Absolutely. It is a poison, and it says it on the package. Yeah, there is a very clear warning on the package that it is dangerous for everyone. Yeah, so the thing with you have 2 types of rat poison. One works on the coagulation of the blood, which is the warfarin. That means that when the rats eat that, their blood doesn't coagulate and they slowly bleed to death, which is a horrible death anyway. And the other one is a neurological drug. So they go completely whappy and then they can't eat and do anything and die.
So either way, it's horrible.
Yes, either way is horrible. But a rat has a certain size, and the rat poison is made for rats to eat it, yeah? But if you have a puppy or a dog or anything that sees something orange or blue
a child
or whatever,
even,
they'll at least play with it, yeah? And in the worst case, eat it. Now, that can also cause bleeding in the dog. So what people also think that if you just hide it where the dog can't reach it, yeah, but the rats, when they eat at it, they move it along. Yeah, they just shove it along a little bit, and that means it could be lying anywhere. Here in Spain also, because we have the rats in the palm trees, they put the rat poison in the palm tree, yeah, thinking nobody can reach that, but when it's very windy, they blow out of the palm tree and they land on the floor. Yeah? So all these poisons that we use for rats, for ants, for all those things, they are also poisonous for everybody else.
Right, so the worst thing you can do is have them near dogs and cats, I guess.
Exactly, yeah. And also if a rat has died because of the rat poison and then the dog eats the rat, they still get the rat poison.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah.
Wow. And does it have to be ingested? It has to be eaten?
It has to be eaten. Yeah, correct.
Okay.
Now, there are companies here in this country, that do, which is called de raticida. They come and they de-rat your place. That means that, of course, the animals will have to be moved to another area. Yeah, they treat the whole area, remove all the rats that are there, and then clean it up, and then you can put the dogs back in.
Okay.
That's the safest way.
Yeah, because I suppose if you have got rats, you do want to remove them.
Yes.
You can't have them sort of hanging around, but blimey. And there's all these different types of rat poison. How would you know? Are they like pellets? How would someone know what they look like?
Oh, they come in blocks, they come in pellets, they come in little plastic bags. And then, for instance, like the ant poison comes in a little box so that the ants walk through it. By the way, a very good way to keep ants out of your dog food, if you do leave dog food down, is to put a tray of water underneath the bowl.
Yeah, I do that on the feeding stations. It's a really good idea.
It is, yeah. They just don't like water, do they, ants?
They drown.
Yeah. I'll put some water on my countertops. We haven't had them yet this year, but other years we've had ants. Well, that's interesting stuff, really interesting stuff. We need to take our first advert break, but we will be back on the other side.
The Lifestyle Show, presented by Selina MacKenzie.
What is that?
That's a squirrel. They all sound the
Squirrel. Yeah, of course.
They all sound the same. It's 3:20. You're listening to Animal Talk on the Lifestyle Show on Talk Radio Europe. We're just talking about rat poison at the moment. And Henrietta, you happened to your dad apparently.
Yeah, so my dad had, his first dog that he brought over here from England was a Weimaraner. And he went running with him as usual, just like down a dirt track, and the dog ate rat poison and then rushed into the vet, but it was too late and he just bled from the inside out. And he's a big dog, Weimaraners are big dogs, and he was fully grown, so it's just, even if it was a tiny bit, it just killed him. And then it happened twice after that with 2 more dogs. And my dad, it obviously is just horrible for the animals, but it destroyed, it's terrifying. It's awful for the family, that's your pet, and you lose it in such an awful way. So what he did afterwards was he had a belt, and he was fully equipped, so that when he did take them on walks, he had this spray in a bottle that they'd obviously tried it before, and it makes them automatically be sick. So even just them seeing that spray, they would just not eat anything. So that's quite a good tip for people to know, and just be
that's
careful.
Really, really good idea.
Because they were trained to just know, if you eat something, you're gonna
it'll make you sick.
Not unless it's in the home.
I think also with puppy classes, I think one of the most important commands is leave it. Or drop it.
Yeah. It's the same at different times of the year, isn't it, with the processionary caterpillars?
Yes.
It's all a worry. It's all a big worry. We have little baby bird in the studio. I'm not going to say too much about it, and we're not going to disturb Archie, but I am going to have a little look at the end of... No, we don't want to wake him up now. But you rescued 3 recently. It's important. Yeah. It's important. I mean, if I was to see... Well, let me go back, because I learnt something from you a couple of years ago, Kay, that don't always pick a baby bird up, because they could be just...
fledglings.
Yeah.
So what I wanted to explain was I am overwhelmed with birds, actually. At the moment, it's the time, with fledglings. Now, I get people ringing me up all the time. Oh, I found a bird on the floor and it can't fly. And the first thing I say to them, send me a photo, and then I know exactly what stage we're at. The parents will tend to it on the floor. Not every single bird the parents will tend to it on the floor. That's very important to say, okay? But once I know which bird it is, for example, swallows and swifts, if they fall out the nest, then the parents won't tend to them on the floor. That is because they eat and drink in flight and they don't take off from the ground. So they're not going to keep coming down and looking after it. So if you see a swallow or a swift on the floor, then it needs to be either put in the nest or rescued. Then you've got your fledglings, which you'll see they've got the little tail feathers at the back. So they are developed, but they're not learning to fly. They might have come out of the nest and they need putting back, or they are actually trying to fly. That's the ones that people are seeing at the moment, and they're ringing me up and saying, I've rescued this bird. Well, the problem is they take them home from where they are. By the time they've contacted me and I'm telling them to put them back, it's that time schedule. The parents might have gone by then. Now, they will tend to them on the ground for 1 week or even more. So normally they go under a bush and the parents will come down and feed them. So please do not, and I'll put something on the page, on your page as well, don't disturb the families of birds if you don't need to. They don't need rescuing if they can't fly, if they're learning to fly, because they're not meant to be flying at the moment. If you see one, of course, without the feathers on the floor, I mean, there's 2 different things you can do. At the very least, if you don't want to get too involved, because I understand not everyone's as mental as me with the mad bird lady, if you can find the nest and that's the nest where it came from, because obviously normally if it's quite small it's fallen straight down, it's not gone different distances. So obviously if it's on the floor, then if you can get a ladder and put it back in the nest to give it the best chance, that's the very least you can do. If you don't think that you can do that and it's in a very bad condition or it's out in the sun or whatever, you could try yourself. I mean, there is ways. I always say the easiest thing quickly to do would be I boil an egg, mash it up, pair of tweezers, and really small pieces if it's a very, very, very small bird. Or you can buy the stuff that it's like a formula for them, but you have to be very careful and know what you're doing. So this is if you wanted to do it and you know what you're doing, then do that. If not, you can contact me, of course, for advice, or there is like some exotic vets that will help. Obviously, they are wild animals, but they'll be able to advise you what to do.
Yeah.
And also, if it's an endangered species, then CREA in Malaga, they can also give very good advice.
Yeah. Well, the page that Kay mentioned is Animal Talk by Selina on Facebook. You can get Kay on there and ask for any advice on there.
Yes, you can.
But as far as what you've done this week or recently, rescuing 3 birds, you obviously know, but
they had to be rescued.
What were their circumstances?
So
then?
One of them literally was a few days old, literally from the egg. So obviously that had fallen from palm tree and there's nothing you can do about getting it back up there. So obviously these kind of birds are very difficult unless you know what you're doing. They don't normally survive. So, you have to think about, do you want to try or should you really contact someone that knows what they're doing? The other one that I got, someone found last week. They were on holiday and they posted it on my community page, and they'd found the mother on the patio dead, and then they found the nest and he was in the nest with all the babies that had died. Oh. So they took him out and said, what should we do? And I said, bring him. And the last one, so he's a protected bird, so I had to tell the authorities firstly about it. They're so busy at the moment they can't always come out, so I'm arranging for that to be done this week. But what had happened was, for example, birds of prey, if they go into the nest and some of the babies have died, their mother won't come back while there's dead babies there. So what I would say is, if you can, you must remove the dead babies because, for example, kestrels, the mother, once the babies start to die, and she won't want to come back with the dead bodies in the nest, and then that means that the ones that might be still alive are going to die. So the one that I've got, all of them were dead, and the mum didn't come back for 48 hours. So someone rang me and said, what shall I do? And I said, look, you have to take the babies away. First thing, you have to observe as long as you possibly can. They had cameras anyway in the house, so they put the camera there and they watched, and the mother didn't come back for 24 hours. Now at this point you're talking, they're going to starve to death. So in the end, she said, I'll take it out. And I said, look, don't do anything, because obviously got very sharp claws, and you need to be careful. You can't just be picking up birds of prey, because you're going to get scratched and things like that. So and then obviously spoken to the authorities, and he's going to be going on Friday. So they're very busy at the moment. That's the thing. So I think they do appreciate, if you can't just go taking birds of prey from anywhere. It's not legal. Okay, so obviously you have to consult them and let them know, and normally they will come and collect them. However, they're very busy at the moment with all the fledglings.
Where are they? Whereabouts
so
are they?
You've got Creia in Malaga, and then you do have some bird sanctuaries as well.
Right.
But obviously they have to be the legal ones, because you can't just go around picking up endangered species. So that's another thing. So Creia is in Malaga, and you can find it on the internet. Obviously, they will tell you what to do.
CREA.
Yeah.
Yeah. Right.
So I can also post that on your page as well.
Very good.
Well done on what you're doing. I keep seeing the pictures on Facebook. It's incredible. They're cute.
They're so cute.
I know. So from birds to cats, Henrietta, you are a cat fosterer. With, is it just is it AAA that you foster cats for?
Yes, AAA, and anyone who sort of contacts me and needs urgent help, really. So I started fostering 2 years ago. Kay contacted me with some kittens that were 5 kittens that were found on a building site, and it was getting really dangerous for them to be there. So I took them in and ended up getting 3 of them amazing homes. I kept 2, which then now I have 4. So now I try not to keep all the cats that I foster, but I just find it so rewarding. In the last 2 weeks, myself and 2 other fosters have managed to get 7 kittens adopted, which is great. Kittens that were just left in a box somewhere, or just they were so tiny, and you just basically bring them home, put them in a little puppy pen, and they're really easy at that age. They just need food. They sleep probably 20 hours a day. And then just give them a bit of care and love. And I love doing it, and we're always looking for people that want to do that as well.
That's good to know.
Yeah, no, we'd love to have more people on board. And it's just very rewarding to.
And she saved me a few times with I've literally rang her up and I've got an emergency, please can you come? And she's just been amazing, so thank you for that. And we're always looking for fosters, so at the end when we're speaking about how to contact now Henrietta's taking over helping me, but to get fosters and organising fosters and things like that, because obviously I'm very busy with my job, so it's great that Henrietta's on board now with us.
And if anyone wants to adopt as well, we have still quite a few kittens left.
Yeah, well, that would be my problem
as well.
Yeah. I couldn't foster. I would never give them back.
Foster fail, you are.
Yeah, that was what I did the first time, was a foster failure, and then
we've all been there.
I'm keeping 1. No, I'm keeping 2. But it's I love them. But I just have to be quite strict.
Yeah, but it's also nice to know someone that has experience with this. Because if you just start on your own, you have actually no idea what you're doing. Yeah, it might end up well, but it might end up really badly also.
Yeah. That's why we always say puppy pen. You can buy the puppy pen. They're like a pop-up tent. You can't get out if they're a little bit wild or a little bit scared. You're safe. You've got your cat litter tray. You've got your food and water. Everything. They're easy to clean. I literally don't let anyone foster without puppy pens, because otherwise things can go really wrong. And when they're escaping, it's us that they're ringing in the middle of the night to say they can't find the kitten.
They're so fast.
You wouldn't leave your toddler walking around.
Got stuck in a bidet in the bathroom, and I had to get the plumber because I thought it just disappeared into thin air. I thought, did I even have this cat in the first place? Like, I've imagined it. The plumber had to come and lift it up. So now, if they don't, I don't let them out. That was just a mistake. But you have to just tape the toilet and everything so they don't go anywhere.
I remember that when you rang me and said, like, I can't find the kitten, and then when you said where you found him, and we couldn't work out whether he was stuck or just hiding, and then plumber had to come out and everything. So safety first.
I kept her in the end.
She was okay. We just want to tell everyone she was okay.
She was okay, and she's mine now.
So have you had them so young that you need to bottle feed them?
No, I haven't had them that young yet. No,
but we're going to do some
teaching. Ready, to do that. But it's just quite funny now because every time I bring home the cats, my cats are just like, not again.
Oh, Mum, what you brought home
they're like,
now?
Great, and they just stare at the bathroom door like, we know there's something's in there.
They are funny cats, aren't they?
They just know.
Territorial.
They just know, and they
as soon as you walk in the door, they know.
Cat, one of them started being sick because it was just like, the smell of them makes me. Yes, they get so. Yeah, it's funny.
Interesting stuff.
Yeah. But it's good that you have cats of your own. Because if you do have a litter of say, ones that need bottle feeding, they need to be socialised also with cats.
Yes, that's true,
Because those that are literally hand-raised kittens, they have no respect for human beings whatsoever. So where I can get away with, like, okay, you're in a different environment and they're like looking around and they're very cooperative, these kittens are a nightmare.
Right, we need to take another advert break and then we're going to go through some emails and WhatsApp.
The Lifestyle Show, presented by Selina MacKenzie.
Capybara.
Yes! Who was it that said, was it you?
They've got a capybara cafe in England, which is just absolutely amazing.
Fantastic.
It's a giant guinea pig, if anyone wonders what they are. It's basically a giant guinea pig.
Yes, it is. We learnt that.
We love them, don't we?
Oh, crikey. So it's 25 to 4. We've still got lots to get through. This is Animal Talk. Feel free if you want to join in with us. Here is how.
To contact TRE, please call 952 78 4000. Email studio@tre.radio. Send us a WhatsApp on +34 645 99 67 95.
So on to the emails and WhatsApps now. The first one is for Kay. It says, I have 2 questions for Kay, and it's from Lola in Los Belicious.
Hi, Lola.
Hi, Lola. There is a beautiful cat that keeps coming into my garden that no one else will take. 2 questions. 1, how do I catch it? 2, how do I introduce it to my dog, which I'm happy to keep. I think she means keep the cat. He is a small terrier, 2 years old.
Right, first thing I'll say is when you find a cat, the most important thing is sometimes cats might come across as that wild, or maybe they're just scared, but the first thing obviously would be to check if they had a microchip. Now obviously Lola, you're saying that this cat is quite frightened. You can get a cat trap and catch it with, like, there's some organisations in Fengarola and there's some charities that would probably lend you a trap if you don't think you can catch it by hand. Now, even the nicest of cats, I mean, my own cats, for example, to get them in a cat box, the problem you've got is, if you break the trust the first time, it's very difficult. So you have to make a proper plan of how you're going to do it. I always, what I do is put food, if I'm trying to get a cat, every single day at the same time in the same place before I even think about trapping a cat or catching a cat or building the trust. Now, if you want to build the trust and do it slowly with the food, and then you think you might be able to handle the cat, that's one thing. It just depends whether it is really a wild cat or it could have been missing for a long time. So, and you can also contact me, and I can also help you with that, of the advice of how to get it. Now, the second thing would be, obviously, when you find an animal, obviously by law they all need to be microchipped. So if they don't have a microchip, then by law really they don't have an owner. However, not everyone's so bright, sometimes. So what I would always do is, if I find a cat and it doesn't have a microchip, obviously, it would need to be chipped and rehomed legally. Now, you can't just go rehoming them without having everything that they need, but I would always say that to give the person that they might belong to 10 days, they say, to come forward to collect an animal, and then obviously you'd hand it over when it's chipped and everything like that. If it's not, then obviously you are allowed to adopt it and chip it and do it yourself. But Also, one thing that we did in England quite a lot was we used to put paper collars on cats. Now, the RSPCA actually used to make a collar that you could put on, a paper collar with sellotape, so it's not dangerous, and it'll say, does this cat belong to someone, you know, are you the owner of this cat? Because a lot of cats, as we know, do go to other people's houses and they eat there and stuff, and you could actually be potentially wanting to adopt a cat that belongs to someone else. So the most important thing out of everything is to plan everything well. Make sure that the cat isn't your neighbour's, doesn't belong to anyone. Make sure that the owner could come forward, Facebook groups, posters and things like that. And then after that, then obviously, you know, you can adopt the animal, and also to get used to dogs and other cats, because as we know, it's not just dogs that can be difficult sometimes. Other cats can be quite difficult, so you have to do it very, very slowly, very gradually. What I always say is, even though the big puppy pens are fantastic to put the cat in to start with, get them to smell each other through the puppy pen, very, very, very gradually. If you do it the right way in the beginning, you're going to prevent problems in the future. The problem is when people are putting dogs and cats together straight away within a few days, it can go really wrong. I also recommend baby gates are fantastic because the cats can get through them to escape, but the dogs normally can't unless you've got a really small dog. And I always like to put up a screen. You can buy the ones from Amazon which come out like a screen, and you can actually, they can sniff each other through the door but actually see each other. So there's some great ways that you can introduce animals, dogs and cats, cats and cats. But the most important of everything is very slowly and very patiently. Otherwise it can go wrong.
Do you say the same, Henrietta, from your point of view?
Yeah, because I obviously had... I had two cats that were brother and sister, and then a year afterwards I adopted a Siamese from AAA, and I had to do it very, very slowly because otherwise the cats are actually they're just quite stubborn. So they're like, this is my house. So yeah, it's just to do it slowly, and now they all live together, they sleep together, they love each other.
Oh, that's
yeah. But it does. You just have to be patient. You take if they have like a blanket that they sleep on, then you let the other cat smell that one, and just mix certain clothes around and things so they can just smell each other. And
Lola's just written in again and said thank you. And my friend's got this cat cage, whatever it's called, cat cage, she says. But how do I get it in?
Right. Well, you've got cat traps, which obviously, you know, you can't just... If you don't know what you're doing with a cat trapper, definitely you need to speak to an organisation that's going to help you with it. Because if you do it wrong one time, it's never going to go in again. So you've got a trap, you put the food in, and then obviously the cat goes inside and it closes. The most important thing is, I would say, it'd be better to contact someone that knows what they're doing to help you, because the cat panics. The first thing you would need to do is cover the trap directly so that it's not panicking, because they can hurt the nose and the mouth from trying to get out. If you can do it another way, it's not always the best way to do it with a normal cat box, because, you know, when you don't know the animal, well, you know, Nosy, don't you? Because you've got people's pets coming in and I bet you can't even get them in. So
I can't get them out.
The best thing to do is with food, you know, it's getting them used to put the box out, put food, feed the cat in the box. You know, I'm not sure.
Maybe she can already see if she can pick up the cat. If the cat comes close enough to
her garden.
Yeah, but can she pick him up?
Don't know.
You have to establish whether this is a wild cat, a scared cat, or quite a friendly cat, of how to do it. But don't hesitate to contact me and I can help you, Lola. No problem with advice.
We'll give all the contact details after, Lola. That's a good question. I mean, I wouldn't have a clue. A couple that I think are for Nasli. The first one is from Bella in Calahonda. She said, I think this has been asked before, but I'd like to ask again about dogs eating grass. Is it just a habit? Are they trying to make themselves sick, or is it something more serious?
Let's say 95% of the dogs eat grass just because they like it.
Okay.
And they pick a specific grass. They pick the thicker, the longer one. Yeah, and they just munch on that because they like it. There are situations in which a dog is actually ill or has stomach problem, or they've eaten something wrong, then they can just like obsessively start eating grass to vomit. If the vomiting after that stops, then there is no problem. But you also have dogs that just eat grass because they really have a stomach problem. Yeah, but that is repetitive. That goes with not wanting to eat properly. That goes with vomiting all the time. So you'll notice a difference.
You'll know your dog, I suppose. If it's your dog is acting normal but eating grass, then it's nothing to worry about. So hopefully that helped Bella. And the other one for Nasli is from Mark in Torrevieja, who said, "My dog is always, in big capital letters, hungry. What can I do? And does this mean there's a problem?"
I hope he doesn't have a tapeworm.
Oh no! Let's hope.
Yeah, I would
not.
check if he's properly dewormed.
Right.
Yeah, that would be step number one. And then I would ask, what's the breed of the dog?
If you're listening, Mark, which I hope you are, let us know what the breed is and let us know when he or she was last dewormed. How often do they have to be dewormed?
Every 3 months.
Every 3 months. Okie dokie. Right, well, we'll wait till Mark answers. I'm sure he will. And we'll take our final advert break. We'll be back on the other side.
The Lifestyle Show.
They're all sounding the same.
Presented by Selina MacKenzie.
I think Nasli might have said it earlier.
The penguin.
Yes, the penguin. Right, let's get through some of these WhatsApps because we are fast running out of time. We are waiting for Mark. Mark, let us know what type of dog you have. Audrey in Manilva, what are Nasli's thoughts on L-carnitine? Am I saying that right? To promote healthy weight loss in dogs, healthy weight in dogs.
Yeah, L-carnitine is a amino acid which is used to promote weight loss, so fat burning. And it's added to a lot of diets that are specifically for losing weight. Or you can add it separately to the food that you already have.
It's just a supplement.
Yeah, it's a supplement. Yeah.
And it's safe.
Yeah.
Yeah, so we're all right with that. Audrey and Manilva, Nasli says that's okay. I mean, really, I suppose it's like with humans, it should be exercise and a good diet. It should happen naturally, but we all know it doesn't always. So L-carnitine could be the answer.
Yep.
And, Mark's I shall tell you in a minute, Mark's message. James in Sata Grande, why is my dog's pee killing the grass and are there supplements to help? I don't know who's going to answer that one.
Okay, well, urine is an excretion, yeah? Your body toxins leave your body through the urine, and you don't really want to know what is in that urine, yeah? But it's enough to kill your grass.
Yeah.
Okay, and you just got to put up with it.
Yeah. Get AstroTurf.
Yeah. I can't remember what dog she said. I know you said something about a Labrador, Nasli, but Mark's dog is a Cocker Spaniel.
It's a Cocker Spaniel. That was what's taken.
That one of the ones?
Yeah.
So
it comes with the breed.
Does it?
It does.
Oh, wow. That's interesting. Okay, well, there you go.
The brown Labrador, the Cocker Spaniel, the Beagle.
How interesting. How interesting. Brilliant. Well, I think that's it for the WhatsApps and emails. I did pick something up again off Facebook yesterday off a friend of mine, which I thought was really interesting. She said, a dog went missing last night and the owner was advised to put an item of clothing down where it got lost for the scent. People searched for the dog, but to no avail. Then first, like this morning, the dog was found sitting on the coat that had been left.
Yeah, it really works.
That is fantastic.
Yeah,
advice.
It really works. Yeah.
Because we all know their sense of smell is so strong, and if they smell their owner, I suppose.
Yeah, even if you're like in the middle of a mountain somewhere, from the point that you've last seen the dog, that's where you put your clothes.
It's a fantastic idea.
That is a really, really good idea. I like that. I'm going to keep hold of that one. Right, that is almost it for us for today. But has AAA got anything happening at the moment, Kay?
Right, so we don't have any events coming up, but of course, as I mentioned last time, we're doing the dog walking early. So we're starting from 7 a.m, which I know is really early for some people, but it's fantastic if people can go before work as a part of the little fitness routine and feel-good factor for the dogs and for them. So, we're starting the dog walking at 7 a.m, if you would like to, of course. Not everyone's going to come. And also, we are looking for fosters at the moment. We're looking for fosters for kittens, and we're also looking for fosters for puppies. I think it's really important when they're so young, when they've obviously not been vaccinated and they've just arrived, to be able to get them into foster homes. So that's something that's really, really important to us at the moment. That's what we're focusing on now. Yeah. So getting the dogs out for walkies, because obviously we like to get them all out nice and early, and to find some very nice foster homes. And of course, if you've not done it before, me and Henrietta can help with that and and advise. And as I said, you know, the puppy pens, you can get them from Amazon for like €25 and they're just an absolute godsend. We use them over and over and over, don't we? They're just fantastic.
Yeah, they're great.
And if you get the big one like I've got, you can get inside.
Which I'm sure you do.
And I just sit in there, so, you know, to socialise them. So, yeah.
And I suppose anybody listening who maybe has lost their dog or for whatever reason, if you have a spare puppy pen, AAA need them.
Yeah, that would be fantastic. I'm always looking for them because I seem to have a lot of them and then suddenly I don't have any. Then I'm posting on Facebook and I'm thinking, how did I start with like 8 or 9 and now I literally don't have any? It's the same in my house as well. Like all my cat boxes end up going to AAA by error. And then when I actually need to go somewhere with my cat or to the vet, I'm thinking I don't actually have my boxes anymore. So yeah, we're always grateful for cat boxes and always grateful for puppy pens. That would be absolutely fantastic. We have got an Amazon wish list that I've mentioned before as well, with certain things on there when people said they'd rather get something than to donate money, which is fantastic because obviously on the wish list they order the things and they get delivered directly to us, so we're always very grateful for anyone's support. So
brilliant.
Thank you
Good
for that.
system.
Yeah.
And AAA's website?
Right, so you can go on www.AAAmarbella.org and basically you can find all the different information and direct you to all the different things for the cats and the dog or for fostering or for inquiries. So that's the best one, www.AAAmarbella.org.
Excellent. And for you, Henrietta, is it the same contact details?
Yes, well, you can find on AAA obviously all the cats and everything available for adoption, but if you are looking to foster, which would be great, you could email me on kittiesonthecoast@gmail.com. So that's KITTIES onthecoast@gmail.com. And even if you're interested also in adopting any kittens, let me know.
Henrietta Ross.
And any questions you might have about fostering, I'm happy to help and answer anything.
Fantastic. And Nasli, vet extraordinaire.
Merci.
Denarder, I can't think what it is. It's in French.
De rien.
That's it.
Very good. Yeah, you can contact us by phone, 95280-4165, by email info@pointerclinic.com, and the Facebook page is Pointer Veterinary Clinic Estepona.
Wonderful. And I've just realised I haven't read out our AAA Dog of the Week. So if you want to adopt a dog, we have our usual AAA Dog of the Week. And this week we have Leon, who is 8 years old, a very handsome form with speckles of black Mastiff dog. He's 77 centimetres tall. He's very friendly, but he's energetic, and he's looking for a home where he is either the only dog or one without children. Again, the website is AAAmarbella.com and the reference number is 28392. This has been Animal Talk. Thank you very much, Kay Millington, Henrietta Ross and Nasli van den Kieboom.
Thank you very much.
We will be back on the first Tuesday. I have to think of the other one. First Tuesday of next month. Is that right? No, it's the last Tuesday.
Last Tuesday, yes.
I do the Me Nobody Sees, which is another panel show, on the first Thursday. So I'm getting myself mixed up. The last Tuesday of July. But for today's show, it is time for this.
Goodbye, sweetheart. Well, it's time to go. We're back tomorrow with another show. Well, unless we're fired, we'll talk to you then. Goodbye, sweetheart. Goodbye. Goodbye.
You've been listening to a TRE production. If you've enjoyed this program, there'll be another episode waiting for you next week, right here on this platform, where you can also access our extensive back catalogue of shows and interviews. For more information on our live programming, social media channels and apps, and how to contact Talk Radio Europe, please visit tre.radio.